Meet the women driving an end to traffic gridlock in Senegal. With the regional express commuter railway running from Dakar to the new city of Damniado, came job opportunities for women in transportation.
The Economic Community of West African States Council of WISE calls for more advocacy and better funding for major sectors to help end coup plots in West Africa. Hello, and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Joke Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from Voice of America in Washington.
Well, thanks. I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Channels Television in Lagos brings you that story.
As part of efforts to end coups in West Africa, the Economic Community of West Africa States Council of WISE is calling for more advocacy for better funding for education, economic and industrial rejuvenation. These were the comments made at the Strategic Retreat and Planning Workshop of the ECOWAS Council of the WISE held in Lagos, Nigeria.
West Africa might be grappling with a myriad of challenges. However, chairperson of the Council of WISE, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, has expressed confidence in ECOWAS' ability to solve the problems. At a two-day meeting in Lagos, the former Nigerian president says more advocacy for better funding is essential to curb growing unemployment, its related malice, and ultimately strengthen conflict prevention structures.
I'm confident that we have the capacity to achieve our mandate. The task ahead of us may seem daunting, given the current challenges in our sub-region, but it is not insurmountable. I implore all of us to give the assignment our best shot. We will be seen to have done justice to this assignment if we succeed in catalyzing processes towards institutionalizing systems that will deepen democracy, people-oriented governance, and sustainable growth in our sub-region. Before I take my seat, let me encourage council members that ECOWAS is definitely not going down. Yes, we have challenges, but we'll surely overcome the challenges, and ECOWAS will even become stronger.
In the last 2 years, there has been 3 military coups in West Africa, Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso, as well as attempts in Niger and Guinea-Bissau. This is of concern to the ECOWAS organ, as it seems democracy is gravely threatened, as well as regional stability and security.
The Council of the WISE will continue to engage our leaders and let issues of good governance become like a part of our culture. It should not be like a president must do A, B, or C, but we should do things that will be helpful to society, and citizens must appreciate it. And if it becomes a part of our culture, doing things properly, then of course issues will be better off.
At the conclusion of the summit, Dr. Jonathan, who is also the ECOWAS chief mediator on the Mali crisis, is calling for more to be done for better funding for education, economic and industrial rejuvenation. The ECOWAS Council of the WISE is a mediation organ of the regional body. The reconstituted council has 30 members, 2 each from the 15 ECOWAS member states, on the basis of gender balance, with Guinea's Madam Hadja Saran Daraba, former executive secretary of the Mano River Union, as vice chair. The meeting was organized by the Directorate of Political Affairs, ECOWAS Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security.
Joining us now to discuss this is public affairs analyst Oluseyi Adeyemo. Thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
So what are your thoughts on the ECOWAS Council of WISE summit that sought to find solutions to the challenges bedeviling the West African region?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. What did you say?
Well, your thought to the ECOWAS Council of the Wise, that's seeking to find a solution to the problems and the challenges bedeviling the West African region.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, as a people, in ECOWAS, I think we are not preparing sufficiently enough for war. And we cannot desire peace if we are not adequately prepared for war. For instance, I think it's a very, very instructive time for us in West Africa, as regards what is happening in the EU. We all know that Oga Putin have decided to invade the Ukrainian people. And you see, what that tells us is that there would always be problems, and there will always be situations where you need to mediate for peace. And the only way you're able to stand on top of that situation when he rears his head is having structures like the councils of rights, like this, to make sure that there are 24 hours on the assignment of mediating peace. And it's a lot of work. It's something they need to do seriously. It's something they need to do with all their heart. It's not something we pay lip service to. Because in my opinion, as a people in Africa, specifically in West Africa, we have not done well as regards mediating peace in the region.
So looking at the recent coups in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, some experts believe ECOWAS has lost its hard stance against such actions. How can ECOWAS regain that? That's if you think so as well.
The economy of this region is not doing well at all. The living standard is not being promoted. And you cannot then come when there is a coup, when the military come, who usually will come as the savior of the people. Yes, we all know that they don't exactly save the people. They also come to pursue their personal agenda. So the reason why ECOWAS, to answer your question directly, is losing their stronghold is the fact that the people obviously don't trust them as much again. The days where we had the ECOMOG, where they were moving and do a lot of things, is obviously gone because ECOWAS is fast losing its credibility in the region.
And in conclusion of the summit, chairperson of the council and former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, called for more advocacy for better funding, education, economic and industrial rejuvenation. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he has a very, very good point. I mean, he was stressing the fact that the reason why we have so much unrest in the region is because we have a lot of uneducated youths in our region. And like we all say, the devil finds work for the idle hand, that our youth are idle, and there's a need for them to be properly engaged and, get them properly educated, make sure that they are, you engage them better. But I would want to ask, if you want people to listen to you, if you want to lead the people, you must lead the people by example and show that our leaders are truly qualitative people, and you are able to lift our living standard from where it was to an higher one, which is what is expected. So the region must brace up to the primary duty of ECOWAS, which is to make our life better. And we all would say now that we're really not doing well as we ought to do. I mean, it is not a situation that we pray or expect to go on more than this time.
Right. Public affairs analyst Oluseyi Adeyemo, thank you so much for joining us today on Africa 54.
A radio program in Nigeria is helping break through conservative culture barriers by highlighting cases of gender-based violence, or GBV. Even before the coronavirus lockdowns, many women and girls were victims of GBV. Timothy Obiezu reports from Jos, Nigeria.
Fatima, who does not want her real name used, is a rape victim. She's also wearing a mask to protect her identity. Fatima was on her way home from evening prayer in April 2020 when she was assaulted by two armed men.
They had a gun to my head and a knife to my throat as they took me into the building. They raped me, and they kept taking turns while they were stabbing me during the act.
At first, she was too afraid to report the incident to the authorities. Her rapists threatened to kill her if she told anyone. But like many residents in Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, every Thursday evening, she listens to a radio show where victims of gender-based violence talk about their ordeals. Fatima eventually broke the silence.
The case has been in court and it's been dragging. I need your help to be able to push through with the case. I want justice.
Nanji Nadang is the host of Silent Voices, a show on the local JFM radio station. Nadang says the program reaches 100,000 listeners every week.
When they're telling me their problem, they feel like this is a safe space. Times I go emotional on the show. There are times I go blank because when you hear some cases, you wonder if we have normal human beings again on earth, because some people behave like monsters and it's really disturbing.
To help victims get justice, Nadang works with the International Federation of Women Lawyers, or FIDA. The non-profit offers free legal representation to victims who report cases on the radio show. But FIDA's representative in Plateau State says getting justice for victims is not easy.
So much bottlenecks. So somehow we encounter some delays. But our presence also gives us a lot of breakthrough. There are cases that ordinary people would report to the police and they are not being given the necessary attention. But the moment they call on FIDA for FIDA's intervention, the moment we appear, the police will hasten the process.
While Fatima's rapists have yet to be convicted, FIDA will be monitoring the case. Meanwhile, the radio program will continue to help the victims of gender-based violence.
Share your story with me via Silent Voices with nanji@gmail.com and tell me whatever sexual and gender-based violence issue or human rights violation you are facing.
Timothy Obiezi for VOA News, Jos Plateau State, Nigeria.
Looking for a chance to walk in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela? Well, look no further than Sanctuary Mandela, a former residence of South Africa's late president and anti-apartheid icon in Johannesburg, which has now been turned into a boutique hotel. Opened in September, the hotel promises guests a blend of tranquility, heritage and mindful experiences, including a fine dining restaurant that serves dishes inspired by Mandela's favorite meals. Let's take a look.
To preserve and honor the legacy of South Africa's iconic leader, Nelson Mandela, his home, which was a symbol of his presidency and struggle against apartheid, has now been transformed into a luxury hotel. Sanctuary Mandela, as it is now called, was the former president's first home in Johannesburg, after being released from his 27-year-long imprisonment. Surrounded by lush gardens, the property has 9 rooms that can accommodate a total of 18 guests. The walls are also covered in memorabilia, paying tribute to the global icon.
You couldn't go wrong with that when you give him vegetables, but it must be a variety of vegetables, because he will tell you that put color, there must be color of the vegetables on the plate. Then he loved and he liked very much oxtail stew, of which right now here we are having a vegetable, we are having a ravioli taken from the oxtail stew. So we made it a ravioli. So that one, 3 days in a week, you must have oxtail in his house with sam and beans, that is umngqusho in our language.
The property was designed to be a space of reflection and tranquility, and it offers guests an opportunity to connect and intimately experience Mandela's hospitable nature. Mandela lived on the premises between the year 1992 to 1998.
It feels so good. It feels so, I don't know what words I feel so honored. I must say, I feel so honored that they still remember that this is the person that can take us to where Dada used to come from.
After enjoying lunch at the Sanctuary Mandela, dinner guest Lyndon Matabane listed the reasons she loved the red roof Spanish villa-style hotel, which opened late last year.
The place is divine. Whoever came with this concept, I wouldn't have thought something like this, and everything is beautiful. The people, the service you receive here, everything is just to the tops. And yeah, as she said, the feeling, it's like you could feel Mandela's presence somehow in this place. And as I was going around the tour, you know what, I could feel a sense, something that this man, you know, even though he passed on, but he still lives, he's still around us.
Mandela's dream of a more equal South Africa remains aspirational, as the design of the hotel is a blend of South Africa's rich history, while still maintaining modern and glamorous look and feel.
It's time now for a short break. As we do, we remind you to visit our website, channelstv.com, for news and programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come, to Egidie Kayitesi, coaching one of Rwanda's top women's soccer teams means more than contributing to the game. For her, it's a chance to encourage young women to win on the field while staying focused in school.
Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Senegal's regional express train, or TER, runs between the capital city of Dakar and the new city of Diamniadio, 36 kilometers apart. While the commuter railway aims to relieve traffic gridlock, it also has advanced women's job opportunities in the transportation sector. Alison Fernandez and Baindieu report for VOA's French service.
At 7 a.m. at the Dakar train station, Marie-Yvonne Ngom starts her working day as an engineer. A computer scientist by training, the 26-year-old Dakar native decided to switch career tracks after spotting a classified ad from CEDA, the company operating the regional express train. Ngom went through a rigorous selection process, then completed a 4-month course.
It was very difficult training. It consisted of theory and practice, understanding the engine's power. It's not just about driving. You also have to understand the operating system, be able to handle it with ease, troubleshoot.
Ngom and a dozen other women are among the 70 drivers recruited by CETA. Such positions traditionally have been held by men, but CETA's managing director said the women performed especially well in training. 5 of them were named team leaders, along with a dozen men.
But it turns out that today we have a feminization rate of 30% in all positions combined. A high rate of them are in support functions, such as passenger service agents, which we found at the station. But we have them, surprisingly, and it's already a good surprise, in more technical professions such as driving and maintenance.
Many passengers seem pleased to have women at the controls of express trains that can travel up to 160 kilometers an hour.
Women are more caring, they're more patient in driving, they're more careful than men, and I think that's a really good thing too.
The fact that this train is being driven by a woman is a major step forward for our country. It shows that Senegal has positioned women where they need to be, that is to say, at the center of decisions.
The TER, a flagship project of the emerging Senegal plan, began operating December 27th. The railway has 950 employees, almost all of them, 97%, are Senegalese.
We head now to Rwanda to meet 49-year-old Egidie Kayitesi, who coaches AS Kigali, one of Rwanda's top women's soccer teams. She considers her coaching profession as any other profession, as she encourages young women to take interest in sport while also staying focused in school.
At a sharp whistle from Rwandan soccer coach Egidie Kayitesi, Her players change their practice drills. The team splits into pairs, some kicking the ball and others throwing it. Kayitesi coaches AS Kigali, one of Rwanda's top women's soccer teams. She got her coaching certificate in 2002 and her first job 2 years later.
What motivated me to become a coach was the government's policy of encouraging women to take an interest in sports, especially soccer. The women who were high up in the government were leading by example on the field, and we were following. So I became a coach.
AS Kigali Group has recently come into the spotlight after Rwanda's Salima Mukasanga made history as the first female lead referee of an African match last month. Kayitesi was in charge of Mukasanga's team when she was a youth player.
I consider the coaching profession as any other profession. Only I have found that in soccer, you have to invest in it, love it, and persevere in improving your knowledge and techniques to make a difference in your coaching career.
Kayitesi's love for soccer started when she played for Ikipe ya Kimuhurura, another local team, in 2001. She was its captain for 2 years. She also uses her coaching skills to encourage young women to stay in school.
Each player is free with our coach. She's a woman like us. She understands all the difficulties we can have. I can't say anything to a man, but with Egidi, I consider her as our mother outside soccer. She gives us advice on social life.
During her 3 years as a coach and manager at AS Kigali, the team has won 3 championship cups. They are presently 4th in the Rwandan Women's League.
South Africa sees a jump in pet sales during the coronavirus pandemic, and not just for guard dogs, which are common because of a high crime rate. South Africa's pet shops say in a world of social distancing, people are finding companionship in a range of furry and even slithering animals. Linda Givertesh reports from Johannesburg.
For many, finding a snake in their garden would be a fright. But for 15-year-old Jimmy Deeb, it's a comforting sight. He started adopting snakes during the first pandemic lockdown, in part being inspired by a friend who had a snake as a pet.
So I just used to spend my days playing with my snakes and just holding them and cleaning the enclosures and looking at them. They really are just majestic animals. It's not an aggressive, evil killer like people think. And I can tell you that they are really awesome pets. I have dogs and I have some snakes that are like dogs. Like, they are really intelligent.
And he says he's not alone in his hobby. He's joined online groups with other snake parents to share tips and tricks about where to buy and how to care for the creatures. They're certainly not for everyone, but pet ownership and spending on pet care, from health to treats, has climbed during the pandemic, according to market research firm Euromonitor International. Cat breeders say there was certainly a rise in sales for more traditional pets.
I think a lot of people now, they've realized home is actually where your heart needs to be, not work. And they need to now make their homes a home where they've got someone to come home to and share with them. And I've certainly had a lot of queries, a lot of interest. People saying, you know what, I'm lonely, it's time for a companion.
The pandemic was particularly hard for this doctor and her husband, who is also a physician. She says getting a ragdoll kitten helped relieve their stress.
Sometimes the unspoken love of a cat, especially after a rough shift where you don't even really want to talk, and you just have someone who just is there, loves you, cuddles you. You know, instantly when you get home and you hold that baby, you just feel, okay, I can breathe.
Psychologists agree that pets have therapeutic benefits and that emotional support is increasingly recognized by the public.
So we are seeing that there has been very positive shifts that have been made, where there's a lot more narrative around the role of dogs and cats in the household and what they can offer, and our animal companions can be there to provide that comfort and that reassurance during difficult times.
While the pandemic has changed perceptions of the role of cats and dogs in the home, Tucker warns economic pressures and job losses are forcing some families to give up their new pets. That's not a concern for Deeb, who anticipates his collection growing.
I would like to do that one day, open like my own little reptile zoo, and I also was looking into going into nature conservation and that. So I love nature and animals.
Snakes may not be a conventional pet, but they can certainly give you a hug. And through lockdowns, they're great companions. Linda Giftash for VOA News, Johannesburg.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent Makori in Washington. Channels Television has our last word from Lagos.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. To remember, channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Joker Rogers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.